A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Penguin Random House Audio presents Shatterpoint, Star Wars Legends by Matthew Stover. Read for you by Sullivan Jones. The Essential Legends Collection. For over 40 years, novels set in a galaxy far, far away have enriched the Star Wars experience for fans seeking to continue the adventure beyond the screen. When he created Star Wars, George Lucas built a universe that sparked the imagination and inspired others to create. He opened up that universe to be a creative space for other people to tell their own tales. This became known as the Expanded Universe, or EU, of novels, comics, video games, and more. To this day, the EU remains an inspiration for Star Wars creators and is published under the label Legends. Ideas, characters, story elements, and more from new Star Wars entertainment trace their origins back to material from the Expanded Universe. This Essential Legends collection curates some of the most treasured stories from that expansive legacy. Prologue: The Clone Wars by George Lucas. For 1,000 years, the Old Republic prospered and grew under the wise rule of the Senate and the protection of the venerable Jedi Knights. But as often happens when wealth and power grow beyond all reasonable proportion, an evil fueled by greed arose. The massive organs of commerce mushroomed in power. The Senate became corrupt, and an ambitious politician named Palpatine was voted Supreme Chancellor. Most disturbingly, the Dark Lords of the Sith reappeared, after 1,000 years of seeming absence. In the midst of this turmoil, a Separatist movement was formed under the leadership of the charismatic former Jedi Count Dooku. By promising an alternative to the corruption and greed that was rotting the Republic from within, Dooku was able to persuade thousands of star systems to secede from the Republic. Unbeknownst to most of his followers, Dooku was himself a Dark Lord of the Sith, acting in collusion with his master, Darth Sidious, who over the years had struck an unholy alliance with the greater forces of commerce and their private droid armies. The turning point came when Count Dooku lured the unsuspecting Jedi into a trap on the desolate planet of Geonosis. Having just discovered the existence of a clone army that had been secretly commissioned for the Republic 10 years earlier, the Jedi were well prepared when they confronted the Separatists on Geonosis, but their victory in that heated battle was Pyrrhic. It would prove to be merely the opening salvo in a war that would spread like fire across the galaxy and engulf thousands of star systems in the legendary Clone Wars. Having already been granted emergency powers in the face of the growing threat, Chancellor Palpatine used his ironclad grip on the Senate to seize even greater authority, all in the name of security. To address the urgent military needs of the Republic, he enlisted the Jedi Knights as generals to command the clone army. The Jedi valiantly accepted their assignment. Though never having served as military commanders, they were unaccustomed to the wages of war. Their ranks, once sufficient to serve as the guardians of peace and justice, were spread perilously thin in the face of this unthinkable challenge. Their relationship with Palpatine grew strained. At the same time, they felt their power waning, even as their most promising new apprentice completed his training and stood poised to fulfill his destiny as the chosen one who would bring balance to the Force. The Clone Wars raged for years, tearing the Republic apart and spawning countless tales of heroism, bravery, treachery, and betrayal, as heroes on both sides fought to defend their ideals. As dedicated as the Separatists were in their resolve to create a new order to replace the failing Republic, the Jedi were equally determined to preserve the Republic and defeat the Sith, who they understood all too well were the masterminds of the Separatist movement. They still believed in the Republic, still deemed it a republic worth saving. Their faith, which gave them superhuman strength in the face of the mind-boggling power of the enemy, had yet to be shaken. Introduction. Dangerously Sane. From the private journals of Mace Windu. In my dreams, I always do it right. In my dreams, I'm on the arena balcony. Geonosis. Orange glare slices shadow from my eyes. Below in the sand, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Senator Padme Amidala. On the rough-shaped stone within reach of my arm, Newt Gunray. Within reach of my blade, Jango Fett. And Master Dooku. No. Master no more. Count Dooku. I may never get used to calling him that, even in my dreams. Jango Fett bristles with weapons. An instinctive killer, the deadliest man in the galaxy. Jango can kill me in less than a second. I know it. Even if I had never seen Kenobi's report from Kamino, I can feel the violence Jango radiates. In the Force, a pulsar of death. But I do it right. My blade doesn't light the underside of Fett's square jaw. I don't waste time with words. I don't hesitate. I believe. In my dreams, the purple flare of my blade sizzles the gray hairs of Dooku's beard. And in the critical semi-second it takes Jango Fett to aim and fire, I twitch that blade and take Dooku with me into death. And save the galaxy from civil war. I could have done it. I could have done it. Because I knew. I could feel it. In the swirl of the Force around me, I could feel the connections Dooku had forged among Jango and the Trade Federation, the Geonosians, the whole Separatist movement. Connections of greed and fear, of deception and bald intimidation. I did not know what they were. I did not know how Dooku had forged them or why, but I felt their power. The power of what I now know is a web of treason he had woven to catch the galaxy. I could feel that without him to maintain its weave, to repair its flaws and double its thinning strands, the web would rot, would shrivel and decay until a mere breath would shred it and scatter its strings into the infinite stellar winds. Dooku was the Shatterpoint. I knew it. That is my gift. Imagine a Coruscant gem, a mineral whose interlocking crystalline structures makes it harder than Durasteel. You can strike it with a 5-kilo hammer and do no more than dent the hammer's face. Yet the same crystalline structure that gives the Coruscant strength also gives it Shatterpoints, spots where a precise application of carefully measured force, no more than a gentle tap, will break it into pieces. But to find these Shatterpoints, to use them to shape the Coruscant gem into beauty and utility requires years of study, an intimate understanding of crystal structure, and rigorous practice to train the hand in the perfect combination of strength and precision to produce the desired cut. Unless you have a talent like mine. I can see Shatterpoints. The sense is not sight, but see is the closest word BASIC has for it. It is a perception, a feel of how what I look upon fits into the Force, and how the Force binds it to itself and to everything else. I was 6 or 7 standard years old, well into my training in the Jedi Temple, before I realized that other students, full-grown Jedi Knights, even wise masters, could sense such connections only with difficulty and only with concentration and practice. The Force shows me strengths and weaknesses, hidden flaws and...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?